Greetings and welcome to the Healthy Sales Chick Show. I'm Nancy White, the host of this show, and here we love to talk about our healthy mind, our body, and our spirit. And we need to nurture all three every single day, or one of those areas are going to start letting us know they've been left out. I love having amazing people to come and share about how to nurture that physical and financial health. And as my dear friend Paula Fellingham, the founder of Win Win Women TV, always says, we welcome you with open arms and open hearts. I have a question for you. When was the last time that you refreshed and nourished your happy, healthy selves? Well, this is a time that you can come to here and learn from experts. And I have an amazing, fun, feisty lady from down under, Misty Henkel, who is a sales trainer. And Misty, I'm so grateful for your willingness to have some time with us today.
Oh, Nancy, I'm super excited to be here. It what any excuse for us to catch up, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things that a lot of times people don't sort of think about, women, and it's changed over the years as sales trainer. I mean, over the years, you've had so many that have been gentlemen, but Misty's fun, um, just her personality goes to help men and women. And we're going to talk about a few things this evening, just touch on some things. And then at the end, I'm going to really share with you how to get back in touch with Misty and learn even more about how she is using her gifts and talents to really make a difference in the world. But our topic is the fundamentals of selling. And yes, there are some fundamentals of selling. And she's got a really interesting twist on this. And then also, we're going to discuss about how sales and selling have changed, and it has over the years. And again, another topic we get to touch on is why do people find it so hard to sell? We sure don't find it hard to buy, but every time we're buying, somebody's selling and vice versa. But just a little bit about this lady. She is just, again, she lives in Queensland, Australia, and is a sales trainer whose sales programs help hundreds of people every year increase their sales and make more money. Isn't that a fantastic way to do business, to make more money? But she is well known for simplifying the sales process and has written two sales books, which are now downloadable on the Etsy platform. And you'll learn more about that too before we finish. She speaks to business groups each week and on topics of customer objections, increasing sales, and overcoming sales anxiety. She teaches simple strategies to close sales on any product or service. Yes, any product or service. And if Misty could be described in just one word, well, I think it'd be really hard to do that. While she's excited and infectious, comes to mind advocate. That would be the word. There isn't a person that she meets that she isn't trying to promote and build up their profile to themselves and the marketplace. Friendly and excitable, Misty automatically assumes that you're her best friend from the moment you meet and will ever be passing on sales tips and prompting you to sell. As very few are committed to your success like she is. And I love this little fun tidbit, like Ryan Reynolds. Misty can easily be found on Google.
Mhm.
So welcome again, Misty. And you definitely have helped so many people and still are with enhancing their financial health. Would you please share just a little bit about what it was that guided you to where you are today? Why are you doing what you're doing today, Misty?
I think I just fell in love with money when I was like tiny. I just saw a coin, it was shiny. Apparently, that thing buys chocolates, and then I was just in love with it ever since. And a bit of a fan of chocolate. I've got 3 blocks here. The kids keep going to bed late, and I keep eating it first thing in the morning before they get up. So, when I discovered that, and I just like the idea of having it. So I've always had that in me. As a small kid, you can't necessarily get jobs, and we lived in a family that we didn't get paid to do stuff around the house because ultimately we didn't have spare cash. But I learned to knit when I was 5 and crochet when I was 7, and I used to make doilies. And then a friend of my mum said, "Could you make a doily set for my bedroom?" And you just sit down, and when you sit down, just put a timer on, and when you stop, just turn it off, add it up, and I'll decide how much I'm going to pay you. and I got $50. Like at the end, I was like 10 years old or less, and I got $50. It was ultimately 50 hours worth of work. A lot of math involved with the addition of minutes and seconds because it's only 60 per each thing, right? Whereas it's not like adding up 100. And so yeah, so that, and so I earned $50, and that was, oh, I can do this all by myself. Then I used to knit babies' clothes. My great grandmother, I'd send them to my great grandmother. She would sell them, and everyone would say she can sell ice to Eskimos. And so I've heard these lines along the way. I love in America that if you work at a bar, you get tips. So then I wanted to be a barmaid. So from 18 to 27, I was a barmaid for 10 years with that idea. Australia doesn't give tips like America does. But I've been to America a couple of times, and I've been to Canada, and while I give tips, I look on and I think, I would earn so much more than you because this is so much easier than you're making it out to be. It is super easy to earn money, particularly as a barmaid, right? All you have to do is this. How are you going? Oh my God, save room for dessert. The cook has made like the most amazing chocolate cake. So whatever you get, you need to get a piece. And honestly, dessert costs like $15. Your steak probably costs 10, but the dessert, the piece of cake costs like 15. And of course, even if someone says, oh, but I don't even eat dessert. Oh, I don't expect you to eat it here. Just take one piece home. And then when you're sitting down with a cup of tea later tonight and relaxing, watching a movie, have a piece of cake. Who doesn't want that? Even if you don't eat it, you go, oh, now there's a novel concept. That piece of cake is worth so much money to the person who's buying it from you. Tip wise, it's not just on the extra tips because it costs $15 and it adds onto the bill. It's the fact that you've given them an idea that they hadn't come in to buy. The idea they came in to buy was have dinner and not do the dishes. But if you give them an idea that's got nothing to do with what their original concept was, it turns out customer service, I listen to people say about customer service all the time. How is it that you keep clients? I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, did a panel experts a couple of weeks back, and someone said, a question was asked. If you're a physiotherapist, how do you keep your customers with you and not go into your competition? And of course, the catch cry is always customer service, customer service, customer service. Honestly, if the customer went to you and paid money and then booked themselves in again, then they've been serviced enough because you're doing what you needed them to do. It's not that has people come back or pay more. It's the something that they didn't pay you for that they come back for. So as a barmaid, it might be just making them feel good. I used to put music on, then nobody could leave. What's your favorite songs? And then everyone had to stay for their favorite songs, right? So they stay for a very long time because there's a lineup on the jukebox. It might be when I was over in America, one day, me and my husband were sitting there. So back in 2009, we're sitting there and we're having dinner at Long Beach in this restaurant, and the girl, all she had to say was this: wow, I noticed you've got an accent. Where are you from? I mean, that's all she had to say to earn extra money. We'd say Australia, and all she'd have to say is, have you been to the Queen Mary and done the ghost tour yet? I mean, that's it. Just know one thing about your town. Someone from out of town is here. Ask them, have you been or not been? Did you know of it? That is worth more money than the steak dinner.
Absolutely.
Because you've been given an idea. It's not
It's the
hard.
heart. It is that heart, and it's connecting with the person as a human being and doing that little deed of kindness that was not asked for. But I love the cake. I'm going to remember the cake.
Kathy Weaver gave me this idea. I never heard the word before. I love it so much. I use it all the time. And then some random person said it to me. Said it out loud. And I'm going, oh, that's Kathy's word. Edification, right? She just happens to mention it in one of her books, right? Edification, which is ultimately making somebody feel good. Because I'm like, what is that? I better read the chapter, understand, go, I don't know what she's saying. And then I had to Google it. But ultimately, it's your ability to make someone feel good. That's a secret. How do you make someone feel good? Be friendly. Be nice.
Especially when it's not fake. When it comes really from your heart with not ulterior motives or in false intentions, people can tell if you're I shouldn't say that. If you were not being truthful. But anyway.
So here's how you get really good at not being fake at this. Practice smiling at everything. And if you're having trouble with it, what you do is you walk around looking up towards the sky. Apparently that's where God lives, and it's very hard to frown when you're looking up in that direction. But honestly, when you look up, your face automatically goes into smile. It's really hard to frown, but when you look down, it goes into a frown and it's harder to smile. So if you really need to practice it, just walk around and look slightly up, and then you will just practice smiling. And then whatever comes into your head, that's what you're smiling about. Think of all the bad things.
You just gave a great facial tip too, Misty, because when you're smiling, you have different kind of, you don't have the wrinkles when you do the frowning, you have less wrinkles when you smile. So we're going to get talking to our sales stuff because this is all great information and great tips. And I told everybody she was fun and feisty. Okay, so Misty, about selling, and it has really changed, especially since the internet, and especially since just years and years ago, and everybody kept thinking about the old car salesman. Well, there's generations now that didn't even know about that old car salesman because you buy everything online now. But how has sales and selling changed, that just from your perspective that you've seen?
Here it is, right? This amazing thing was invented. It's called Google. Ever since Google, selling has changed. So before Google, I like to say traditional sales training, which means before Google was available to the customer, right? So before they could research everything all by themselves without a salesman. So before Google, the salesman was the source of all knowledge. Customer would go to the salesman and say something like, I can't sleep. And if it's a mattress salesman, I can't sleep at night. Oh, maybe it's the mattress. Right. Yeah, I was thinking that. Tell me more. And then the salesman could say whatever they liked. They could say what they liked. They could ask questions. The customer would answer. You could get them to lie on beds. You could demonstrate all of it, right? Since Google, customer says, I can't sleep at night. They go to Google first. And Google tells them why, gives them ideas as to why they can't sleep, not because of their mattress, but because of these 20 ideas. Maybe you've got sleep apnea. Maybe the person next to you has sleep apnea. Maybe it's the mattress. Maybe it's your pillow. Maybe you haven't washed the sheets in a while. Maybe it's what you ate. Did you drink too much coffee? Right. So what the customer does with these 20 ideas, they look at the 20 ideas and they go, self-diagnose, right? And they go, let me go for the idea that seems easiest for me to solve. And I'll start there. And they start solving their problem, knocking down the ideas that Google gave. When they finally get to, you know what, I like this idea the best on solving my problem, I'll Google as much as I can. And then when you can't get any further, they'll go to the salesman to either just pay their money or to ask one or two more questions, as if the salesman was Google. Now, here's what I want everyone to know. If you answer the customer's questions like Google does, you get the sale. But if you answer the question like a traditional salesman, here, let you tell me my story and all the information that I have because I'm all worldly and knowledgeable, while you might be, you're sending them down a path they're not interested in listening to. And the reason the customer doesn't buy is because, seriously, you just took up too much of my time and I'm not giving my money to you now. So they go find somebody else that's shorter in their answers. Now, it's not to say that the salesman can't be lengthy in their description. They just can't initially when the customer has questions. Because, see, the customer's going to sell to themselves all by themselves. I have a line. It's called this, and anyone who's listening can write it down. It's called, let the customer do the heavy lifting, because they'll do this all by themselves. I ask this all the time. Nancy, I'll ask you this. Ever done the grocery shopping before? Gone to the supermarket, bought the groceries? Right. Ever had to go to the store to buy one thing? We'll call it milk, right? Let's say you've run out. Geez, I need milk. Okay. So you go into the store and you say, I'm just getting milk. I'm just getting milk. I'm just getting milk, right? And then you leave with a grocery bag full of stuff. Let's say it costs $30. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
And you're standing there looking at it going, how did this happen? Here's how it happens. The stuff sat silently on the shelf with their price, and you, the customer, did it. And while you might be saying, oh my God, I don't want to spend the $30, you spend it and leave, but you don't blame the stuff on the shelf. You blame yourself for having done it. This is how, so with the sales training I don't teach people how to sell, because truthfully, customers buy all by themselves. We don't need to know how to sell. The customer's going to do that on themselves. So what I teach is how to stop stopping the customer from buying. They already made a decision. So there's certain things that you have to do. You have to stand there silently while the customer gets all their words out. And when the customer gets all their words out, you have to acknowledge that you heard them speak. And then you have to stand there silently while they make a decision. So am I going to buy it now or not? And the customer will do this all by themselves. And mostly they're buying. If they're not, it could be a timing issue. Maybe they are just researching, they don't need it yet. Or, which salesmen don't know, because the customer never said, maybe they're researching for someone else. In which case, you jump in on a whole sales line and they're not even looking to buy it themselves because they're trying to convince someone else to buy it. Well, you're selling to the wrong person, which ultimately puts them off. Yeah, I'm still going to buy it. I'm just getting it from you now because you assumed too much about me, right? Now, there is a moment in a sale where a salesman is allowed to ask questions, like can ask questions and get away with it. And it's only that moment where the customer's not buying, but before they walk away, which is, oh, thank you so much. I've got all the information I need. I don't need it just yet. But then there's only one question you get to ask. Well, yeah, there's one. Are you looking for you or are you looking for somebody else? Find that out. If they're looking for somebody else, let them go. Or you can say, have you got everything you need for that person? Yes, I think I do. Great. That's all you can do. Let them go. If they're looking for themselves, I'm looking for myself. Then you ask, do you have everything you need? I think I do. And now you can have a conversation. Is it about price? And here's the fun question. Is it about price or is it about outcome? Oh, no, it's about the price. Customers always say price. So you go down the price. So there's a whole thing. There's a thing that I teach on that. We don't have time, but there's a thing I teach on that. And like, if it's price, all right, tell me how much you want to spend. I'll show you what that is. What are you looking to achieve? Oh, based off what you're looking to achieve, it's not going to be at that price. It's going to be at this price. Mm-hmm. And now when the customer knows the facts for themselves, and if the salesman goes quiet, again, customer make the decision all by themselves. Do I have the cash now or not? Should I get it now or should I wait till tomorrow? Whatever it is. But the customer will do all this themselves when the salesman, so where has it changed? Salesmen today are not the superstar in the sale. It's the customer now. They're not the shining light anymore. They're not the star of the show. The customer is the star of the show. And this has been hard for the salesman because we're excited, right? We're like golden retrievers. We're excited. I just want to tell you everything that I know. But the customer's like, I don't need to know.
Just in our short time, and I love how you're really nourishing and giving us amazing financial health tips. And so another area I wanted to touch on, and if we've got time, we're going to come. I've got a lot more in my brain already to ask you. In fact, we may have you come back for the next exciting episode. But anyways, why do people, again, find it so hard to sell? Just like we were talking before, every time somebody sells something, somebody's buying something. Every time somebody's buying something, something was sold. They're selling. But why do people find it so hard to sell when we find it so easy to buy?
Okay, here it is, right? Sales anxiety. I have looked into this a lot. Everything that I've learned to sell as a salesman, everything I've sold, because people ask me, why do you go down this price thing and have to teach people about how to deliver the price? Is it because everything I've sold was never allowed to be discounted? When I worked as a barmaid, food and drink, it's the price is the price. I don't care how many you buy, that's the price. Then I sold here in Australia furniture at our everyday store, which would be similar to your Pottery Barn. So the price that it's marked is it. It can't go any lower, that's it. I've bought groceries. Doesn't matter how many blocks of chocolate I buy in one hit. I've tried 18. They didn't give me 5 cents off. So that's the price. But then I've sold patents and trademark applications for government offices. You buy one trademark, you buy 10 trademarks, it's the application times 10. And Apple computers, Apple across the world, this is the price of the computer, and it doesn't matter what country you buy it in or how many you buy, it's that price times however many. So my training has always been that it can't be discounted, and as much as it's customer, now here's the key, as much as the customer throws a tantrum about the price, as a salesman, all you can do is stand there silently while they throw their tantrum. There's nothing you can do about it. And then they pick themselves up off the floor and decide to pay and leave. So here becomes a secret, right, to sales and how to take the emotion out of sales. Stuff costs money. That is not a secret. Everybody knows this, right? Stuff costs money. As a salesman, all you have to do is get used to the customer's negative reaction to stuff costing money. And here's how you do it. You just stand there silently while they throw their tantrum. Turns out this works beautifully for children at a supermarket. Who's done this one before where they've gone, I'm not buying the chocolate and I don't care how much of a tantrum you throw, and then you do everything to get them to leave, and you talk to them and you yell at them and you bribe them and do all these other things, offer to punish them. Honestly, if you stand there silently for long enough, they'll get over their tantrum, they'll pick themselves up and they'll leave. Because there's nobody talking to them anymore. The first thing I learned in selling in Australia, so we don't have big sales training things like I believe America does. Ultimately, you turn up the job and say your job is to sell and that's it, have at it, right? And it's all trial and error. They said, but this is what you learn. If someone comes in with a complaint, agree with them, say it's all very bad, it should never have happened, do whatever's necessary to stop them from yelling for longer than necessary. So when someone comes in saying, it's an outrage, this thing broke and it should never have, oh my God, that should never have happened. Now they don't have anything else to say. That's the greatest sales tip on the planet.
Agree
and
with
all
them.
you've done is acknowledge that you heard them. That's it. So I'll give you this tip, Nancy. This is for everybody, right? If you think of sales objections, they're actually comments. They're rhetorical comments a customer makes, right? It's not actually for the salesman to solve any particular problem or believe that there's an objection. Just think of it as it's a comment, right? Change it from an objection to a comment. Let's say it this, right? I'll use mine. Sales training with me is what, $35 for a coaching session, right? I get this all the time. $35? What are you joking? How do you make any money? Here's the line. I know, crazy, isn't it? That's it. I just acknowledge that I heard them speak and I let them solve their own problem. Is it a problem? Is that really a discussion that you want to have? Or do you need sales training? Let's go. Let's pretend it's $35,000. How much is it for sales training? $35,000. Are you joking? Who buys that? I know, crazy, isn't it? I just acknowledge that I heard them speak. There's nothing I can solve here. If the price is the price, it can't be solved. So it's now up to the customer to solve. Here's this one, right? Because people say if it's too high, they object. But hey, I hear if it's too low, they object. I get that one too. What about this one? Free. How much is sales training? For the rest of the year, it's free. Free? Well, as nice as that is, are you crazy? Do you not value yourself? Seriously, how negative can a person be? Just take the free sessions, right? But since they want to be negative about it, people are emotional the first time they always hear it. So here becomes the answer. Free? What are you, insane? Why would you do that? Don't do that. Oh my God, you're worth so much more than that. I know, crazy, isn't it? It is amazing how good this line is for everything. I say this on so many things. The kids will come out and say, what do you mean we have to get off the internet and have dinner? I know, crazy, isn't it? What do you mean school is going back tomorrow? But I was enjoying my holidays. I know, crazy, isn't it? I don't want to take the dogs for a walk. I know, crazy, isn't it? I don't want to go to bed now. I know, crazy, isn't it? But I don't want that for dinner. I know, crazy, isn't it?
I'm right.
I don't want to visit Nan. I know, crazy, isn't it? It's for everything. And it's so perfect. It fixes everything.
I'm gonna print it out and put it up on my office wall. I know, crazy.
So much do I use this. Someone made a GIF for me so that then, when someone goes into, Messenger or something, and then if that's the answer, it's like, I know, crazy, and I'm a GIF that goes, great, crazy, isn't it? And now we watch things. I was watching 2.5 Men the other day with my eldest, so he's 14, and Simon. And then someone turned around and said, I know, crazy, isn't it? And everybody's gone, Mum. I said, I'm telling you, it's the answer to everything. And what you're doing is you're acknowledging, I can hear everything that you're saying. And then without sound, you're saying, and I give it back to you to solve. Because I believe in you. And then they get to solve it. And in sales, sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't. Truthfully, more people aren't buying than are buying. So you're not supposed to sell to every person that walks in the room. You're supposed to sell to the person who needs it the most, and the others don't need it that much yet. So your job becomes let them go, you get them back in a follow-up. if you're nice.
Oh, I know. I know. I knew our time was going to continually go real fast. I have to ask you what the history of your crown is.
Oh, okay. So here it is, right? 12 years ago, I discovered a thing called networking. I'd never heard of it before. But anyhow, and here I worked in retail and hospitality. Nobody's ever spoken of networking before. Anyhow, short story is I discovered it. Don't worry how that happened. I discovered it. I went to my first networking event and I've gone, oh my God, this is the secret to all sales. Why has no one ever said this before? I've never been in a room where people are more interested in learning what it is that I do. And my thought was, if I sold mattresses now, holy cow, I could sell a new bed to every person in this room. I'd ask one question. So, or they'd say, what do you do? And I'd say, I sell mattresses to people who can't sleep, who can't sleep at night. Oh shit, is it my mattress that's a problem? Yeah, probably. And then I'd have a new sale, right? I thought, this is so easy. So when I worked out that this was the secret to all sales, networking, I then went to every networking event I could possibly find, small, large, training, all of it. And so I got signed in the town that was in Canberra. I got known as the girl that was at networking. And I'd see some people at all different stuff. And then I became, within 6 months, I was known as the networking queen, because she's at all of them, right? And then from there, they got used to me. Then I teach networking as a sales tool. And then from there, I'd become the sales queen. And something happened a few years ago. I had to get a new picture. So I had this picture and I thought, I don't look like that every day, although I look more like that today than my hair's grown longer, right? So I got this picture taken and then I needed a new picture because I didn't look like that anymore. And then so the girl said, the photographer, she said, you need to get, I need 3 pictures. One which is a classic, one of you. Okay, cool. That's all that I'm after. She said, one that has you, like, about you, that explains what you do in just one photo. I don't need that. She said, but in case for your website, for the About You pages, I don't have a website. She said, one day you might. She said, and I need one of you doing what it is that you do. I'm a sales trainer. What does that picture look like? She said, I don't know. Hold some, business cards or hold some money. I've gone, that's the grossest photo I've ever heard of. And then I've gone, I am known as the networking queen or the sales queen. Can I wear a crown and can I wear a cape? What do you call it? What did Kathy call it? Anyhow, I've got a blanket here. So can I wear a cape and can I sit in the throne and have it? She said, you can wear a crown. And then this showed up. I got this picture. I don't use the classic one anymore. The everyday one of About Me was me with my boys because I take them networking. So it's become the sales queen and her princes, and that's why they've got the crowns. So that's how it came about. It was just a funny thing I was given, and then that was me in my element with a photo, and now it's me.
I love it. I love how it's your little trademark now, and it's just, with Misty. So, Misty, before we finish up, any other tips that you would love to leave? And then what is the easiest way for people to get in touch with you?
Okay, so I've got far too many tips. So I'll tell you the easiest way to get hold of me, and then all you have to do is contact me. I'll give you all the tips under the sun, right? So I'm so easy to find. My name is Misty Henkel, Henkel. It's very important, the spelling. Google loves me. You write that in. I'm like Ryan Reynolds. I don't have a website. He doesn't have a website, but you write that in. Google will find me. But I'm on Facebook, Misty Henkel. I'm wearing a crown. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm wearing a crown. I actually answer to both of those. My email address then shows up everywhere. But honestly, you can find me those 2 ways. Any sales question you have, just ask, because I have the answer, and it's way simpler than you think. And fun and so easy, more easy than you'll ever imagine.
Oh, you bring so much joy to this world, Misty, with what you do. And I love that, your personality is infectious and people just really feel refreshed and renewed after being around you. And I know you've got a couple of great networking events and things too for people that love networking, just like I was also referred to as the most connected person in Charlotte, where I'm from. And, they used to call me the networking queen. But you know what? It's all about those relationships, finding great resources to use and to share without, again, any ulterior motives or anything. So I really encourage everyone to get in touch with Misty so you can learn some more of her incredible tips and information, and even attend some of her meetings too. And she's got a couple of great books on Etsy. So when you check with her and get in touch with her, you will find out
Yeah,
ways.
there you go.
Yeah.
These are on Etsy underneath. It's really shocking. Misty Henkel. Like
That's
it's so
the
hard to
easy way.
find on
I know.
Etsy, but they're downloadable, super easy, and see how big they are. Sales
Uh,
training isn't as hard as you think it is. There's only 5 things you need to know in any topic with sales training, and it's how to do it. That's it. So they're
yeah,
only 5 chapters long, but you read it and you do it, and then it's the practice of sales that makes it happen. It's not the worry. It's just the practice. People say to
absolutely.
me, you could sell ice to Eskimos. I said, because I practice selling it every day.
Yeah.
I ask an Eskimo, why do you need ice, to build an igloo? Great. Then I'll practice talking about building igloos. And now they'll buy the ice. Like, that's how you do it. You just have to practice knowing why someone would buy something, practice saying it, and then sales becomes easy. So again, there's another hot tip, right?
Yeah.
Practice every day.
Practice. Well, again, thank you so much, Misty, for being with us. And everyone else, join us again next week for the Healthy Sales Chick Show. And I'd love for you to get in touch with me. I would love to hear the things that you're doing for your healthy mind, body, and spirit, for your physical and your financial health. And if there's any areas that I could suggest or help you with, I would love to do that. And check out some of the other Win-Win Women TV shows. We've got beautiful other shows, and you'll become educated, more knowledge, and inspired. And again, thank you, Misty, so much for your great time. I look forward to having you back in the future if you'll come.
Oh, 100%. This was so much fun, Nancy. I could just hang out with you all day. I had to really just pull it down. I like that you control me. Then that you stop me from talking because I could go for hours, right? One
Well,
topic at a time.
thank you so much. You have a great rest of your evening.
You too. Bye.